Good evening, Mets fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Mets podcast, where every Thursday night we cover everything you need to know about the New York Mets. So, on today's episode, we will be talking about mainly the Mets' chances of making the wild card spot as of the 12th of September. We'll also be including some other strategies and lineups and decisions that the Mets will have to make going down to the final 2-3 weeks of the season left. So we're gonna get straight into it. Just waste no time. I'm just gonna let you guys know what the National League wild card's looking like right now. The Mets are currently 2 games back right now, 14 and a half games out of the division, which isn't really our concern right now. But we just swept the Diamondbacks, which is huge, as they are one of the teams in the National League wild card somehow still. But yeah, currently the wild card is the Nationals have the first spot, 3 games ahead, and then the Washington Nationals have the first spot, 3 games ahead. And then there's a 3-team tie with the Brewers and the Cubs right now, as the Cubs and Brewers are both tied at 78 and 68. And then behind them is the Mets, that are 2 games back. The Phillies are 2.5 games back, and the Diamondbacks, who are 3.5 games back. And way back is the Giants, 8.5, and who cares after that? So basically, those are the 6 teams in the wild card running still. Basically 5, because the Nationals basically have the first wild card spot and home field advantage locked up, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just the teams that the Rockies have just been eliminated from postseason contention. I hate to see it, but yeah, hopefully the Mets don't get in that spot. But so basically, we are 2 games back. We just swept. After getting swept by the Cubs and Braves back-to-back, we went into the Diamondback series, and then we swept 4-game series, which is huge. Say if we split that series, we could still be 3.5, 4 games back. Or no, I'm sorry, we went to the Nationals, then the Diamondbacks, I'm sorry. But losing 6 straight to the Cubs who are in wild card contention, and the Braves, who are in our division, which just was not a good stretch for us, even after that Indian sweep. But yeah, the moves Mickey Callaway needs to make, in my opinion, is just he can't make any more bad lineups. He can't mixing guys like Luis Guillorme. I get guys need off days and all that, but and you need to mix up the lineup a little bit, but it's coming down to the stretch. You can't play the September call-ups. It just sucks that our bullpen is just so terrible. It's been the downfall of our season. 20+ blown saves. We need Edwin Diaz. We don't even talk about him anymore. We completely lost that trade. Maybe we'll talk about in the offseason on how that trade fully went down. But yeah. So that's basically that's the first point. Mickey Callaway I know Mickey Callaway doesn't make the lineups, and the statistical group does, and analytical people in the club or in the organization make the lineup. But still, we cannot afford to have these lineups that lose us games where we can't put up the amount of runs to support our pitchers that give it their all on the mound. Pitchers can only do so much. Like Stroman today, he pitched great. We had offense. That's what should be happening. We're putting up 6, 7, 8 runs at times and still losing. That should not happen, especially with it's just so annoying. Our pitchers do well. They give us 7 innings, 4 earned runs. That's good for a 5. We're looking like we're gonna win, and then our bullpen comes and just destroys all the pitchers' hard work. And then it's getting to the point where the players on the field are giving it their all, making diving plays, like throwing their body, sacrificing their body just to make a play. And I feel like they're starting to lose confidence and trust in our bullpen, because like they're putting up 8-9 runs, and the fact that their bullpen just saying nope, we're just gonna restart. We're just not gonna keep this lead. It's frustrating. Like, you don't see it like on the television screen. You don't see it. It's on the clubhouse and in their feelings. It just sucks that like at times your players can't even trust your own teammates that are coming out of the bullpen. And then you have the situation where Noah Syndergaard doesn't like pitching to Wilson Ramos. That shouldn't be happening in the first place. Noah Syndergaard let up 10 earned runs when Wilson Ramos caught for him, and it should just never happen again. It's not just even an excuse. Noah Syndergaard is a very particular pitcher who needs a good catcher at all times. He worked phenomenally well in his best season in his career with Rene Rivera. I think he should just always be with Rene Rivera. They should be a battery, just to be a box together. I like that. Noah Syndergaard had his best season in 2016 with a sub-3 ERA with Rene Rivera as his personal catcher. I know Brody Van Wagenen and Mickey Callaway said they don't believe in personal catchers, but it just, we have such a great pitching staff, and the fact that we're just stressing out who's catching. Like, obviously we need Wilson Ramos in the lineup, but DeGrom can pitch to any catcher. He does better with good catchers, but he's had some very good starts with Wilson Ramos, so you can't say he needs a personal catcher. It's just one every 5 days. You just need to give Wilson Ramos a break, which seems reasonable. He's an old guy; his legs are going to tire out, so that seems reasonable. He can play 4 out of 5 days. So, and the day he'll sit is when Syndergaard pitches. That just makes sense, because Syndergaard doesn't like pitching to him, and he needs a good catcher who can block, and he just works well with. And Ramos doesn't particularly have a reputation for working well with pitchers. Even though he caught some pretty good pitchers like Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Blake Snell when he was in Tampa last year. But it's just weird because Syndergaard is a really picky pitcher and just needs a good catcher. And I don't think that's a problem. Unless we get into the playoffs, then that's where Syndergaard really needs to man up and needs to like build a relationship with Wilson Ramos or whatever catcher is hottest bat. Because at that point, it doesn't matter who you like. It's the postseason. You just need to man up. But as of now, obviously we need offense right now, but our offense has been working well. But if that's what helps us get into the postseason, Syndergaard and the Rene Rivera or Tomas Nido battery, I just don't see the problem of doing that until the postseason happens. And who knows, maybe Rene Rivera and Tomas Nido just need major league reps. Like, we all talk about how they're just not good hitters and only one-dimensionally good, like, behind the dish. But maybe maybe Wilson Ramos is blocking out their talent, kind of like J.D. Davis. J.D. Davis, he was kind of like in the situation Tomas Nido was in. He was blocked by the outstanding, like, depth of the Astros roster. So, and he had some phenomenal potential. He had, I believe, one of the highest batting average in all of the minor leagues last year, or might have been 2 years ago. And he was just blocked by the depth of the Astros outfield, and he played like every once a week, and he just didn't get major league at bats. And when he came to the Mets, he got major league reps like every day. Maybe that's just what Rene Rivera and Tomas Nido need. Because I remember when Wilson Ramos was dealing with a little bit of an injury, Tomas Nido got a few starts in a row, and he hit like a home run. And he hit a home run today, so it maybe just needs major league reps. So starting him every few days, who knows? Maybe that'll get him ready for the postseason, but we have to make it there first, of course. So that's the second point. We just need to work well with the pitchers, and good stuff will happen. what's it called? And just on Just on a side note, I'd like to congratulate the Brooklyn Cyclones, our short A-ball affiliate, on winning their league championship. They won in, I believe, 4 games. It's pretty impressive, and that's where the future starts for the Mets. They have a few of their 2019 draft picks in Jake Mangum, outfielder, 4th pick, Matt Allen, our 2nd round pick, who's a pitcher, and we have, of course, Brett Beatty, our 1st round pick, 3rd baseman. So that's good to see some of our draft picks, and they did pretty well. One game, of course, Chad Lowry carried them, hitting 1 home run. They won 1-0. But Brett Beatty and guys, it's good to see that our draft picks are working out. As earlier in the minor league season, Brett Beatty was kind of struggling with a sub 200 average, below it. Yeah. So let's get back to what really matters: the Mets in the wild card race. The Mets are facing the Dodgers in a 3-game series at home, which is probably one of the hardest, which is, in my opinion, the best team with the most depth besides the Yankees and Astros. It's just, that's a team you don't want to face when you're in this kind of run. But yeah, these are the teams you're going to have to play in the playoffs. You're not going to have to face you're not going to face Diamondbacks or, you're not going to face teams like the Marlins. You're not going to face teams like the Tigers in the playoffs. You're going to be facing teams like the Dodgers, especially if we win the wild card. We're going to be facing the best team in the National League. So we need to get used to these games. But yeah, we have the Dodgers series coming up. I feel like if we can somehow win that or take at least a game without and just other matchups working out and not lose too much ground during that stretch, that would be huge in my opinion. It's called... Let's just pull up the schedule and see what we're working with for the rest of the year. Of course, the Dodgers are going to be tough, but yeah. I'm sorry. So we have the Dodgers for a 3-game series, which it's going to be weird. We're going to need to win that series really badly. We're on ESPN Sunday night. And yeah, that would be huge if we can win it. At least take one out of 3 at least. We cannot get swept, especially in this run. So, I'm just going to pretend our record. Let's just count up our record from this point. So, we're 76-70 as of the 12th of September. So, say we're 77 and 72. Let's just say that. We go into the Rockies series. We should sweep. If we can't at least win it, then we shouldn't be a playoff team. The Rockies have been terrible this year. They have pretty good starting pitching, but their bullpen has just been terrible. It's just they've been very underperforming as a team that won the wild card last year and was in the playoffs last year. Then we have the Reds, who we need to sweep. So we have a really good end to the season, besides the fact we have to end the season against the Braves. So we have the Reds, and then we have the Marlins back-to-back series. That is huge. That should be 6 straight wins right there. I know we struggled kind of against the Reds, but I know the Reds aren't a terrible team, but they're not a good team. We need to beat teams like the Reds, especially with their very shaky, very inconsistent team. They're very inconsistent. They have a very shaky pitching staff, and Luis Castillo is good, but Trevor Bauer hasn't been anything special since joining the the Cincinnati Reds. But yeah, so yeah, we need to win that. It depends on who we're facing, but unless we're facing Luis Castillo, there's no point we should lose a game. Even if we do, we're going to face pitchers way more talented than Luis Castillo in the playoffs. Especially if we win the wild card, we're going to be facing the Dodgers. We're going to be facing the 3-head monster in a 5-game series with Ryu, Kershaw, and Buehler, who